Kat, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Gibbs? You good?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
that.
Sorry it's so early.
I know, I know. Look, you've got the crown and everything on. Look at that.
Got to be
How
done.
how was your weekend? All right.
Busy. I had some family over from Shropshire. Uh, some of my partner's family, basically. So it's been nice to sort of spend some time with them.
Wow.
We saw a show. It was my mother-in-law's birthday, so we went up to London to see a show.
Very nice, very nice. So, Kat, thank you so much for doing this. I don't know if you saw or read much about what we do over on my LinkedIn page. But yeah, it was nice to see that as especially a black woman for so long has won Miss Great Britain. So I thought today, really, or just this morning, I'd go through a few questions with you just about your background. So one of the first things that I think a lot of people want to sort of find out really is this something that you wanted to do growing up as a sort of a young girl? Did you sort of have your eyes on being a beauty queen, so to
I'll
speak?
be honest, no. I always kind of felt like I was discounted out
Right.
because I've always been a woman of color. I've always, obviously, always been a plus size woman.
Yeah.
Even as a younger, like preteen, I was a big girl. Like
Yeah.
I've kind of watched those things in awe, kind of always wanting to aspire to have that opportunity, but not feeling myself represented. So didn't see the opportunities that were presented to me later in life.
Right.
So no, as a child, I didn't grow up wanting to be a beauty queen. However, it's something that I have always like kind of looked at and admired because you love the glam and the glitz
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
crowns and the gowns and stuff. And you're like, wow, I wish that I fitted in there.
Right.
And
Right.
I didn't feel like
So
I did.
was it something that inspired you? Like, I mean, when was the decision you thought, right, I'm going to give this a go? Was it later
Actually,
or
back in 2014,
right?
I happened across an advert for a pageant that was looking for women over a size 14,
Right.
new size 14.
Yeah.
So it kind of piqued my interest because I didn't even realize that plus size pageantry was a thing,
Yeah.
like pageants that were specifically for women over size 14,
Right. Right.
to kind of ease them into mainstream pageantry. So
Yeah.
once I realized that that was an option for me, I thought, well, hey, this is my chance. Let me apply on a whim and see if I even get through.
Yeah.
Kind of dealing with a lot of like imposter syndrome and stuff back then
Yeah.
because I was just finding my own feet and my own confidence really. And I just sort of dived in, I guess, tried it, and I won my first pageant the first time I ever took part.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yeah.
so I kind of they say that once you start, it's like Pringles. Once you're popular, you stay. That's very true. I caught the pageant bug, and I was off, and I've won that title back in 2014, which was Ms. British Beauty Curve. I
Right.
then went on to win Ms. International Curve, which is the sister international leg of that pageant, and
Yeah.
then I came second runner up last year in the pageant that I've just won, and then I came back and won it.
Oh, brilliant.
So
That's amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm the curvy girl, the curvy woman is now becoming a really accepted part of sort of the beauty and fashion industry. I know, as you'll look on Instagram, there's huge pages and that and support for that. So I think that's really a bit of a breakthrough as well. That's really good. So I mean, now that this is happening, is your career hopes sort of exploring? Are they getting bigger? Have you got more opportunities, or is there something you want to do with this award now that you've got this
yes, I
crown?
think I want to work really hard to kind of stand for representation. I think for
Right.
me, the most important thing is getting this story heard to inspire other people to follow suit,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and not necessarily to join pageantry because I understand it's like Marmite, it's not for everyone. However, I hope that when people actually take the time to get to know me as a person and understand my background and maybe some of the struggles that I've overcome to
Yeah.
get to where I am,
Yeah.
it might inspire them to follow their own dreams. And I'm not explicitly saying that, they have to follow it in the same way I have, but maybe I can work with them or help them in some way, to kind of inspire them
Right.
to fulfill their own destiny. And I hope that that's what I can achieve. I've always wanted to just inspire other people and help others.
Yeah.
And I hope that this title gives me that platform to do so.
No, brilliant. I think that's what's important. I think it's giving hope to the younger kids that are, seeing that you have done it, that gives them hope. I mean, that's the idea of what we're trying to do over at Urban Edge Capital is to try and, on the charity side, really, is saying, look, these jobs and careers do happen, and they are accessible for you, even though you don't think you can attain them because of your background or your race or your education status. So I think that's really important. I think that's what the kids nowadays need to sort of be aware of and sort of hear. I mean, what sort of struggles did you face during your journey to becoming Miss Great Britain?
I think I've had quite a lot of different personal struggles.
Right.
I was a victim of sexual abuse by somebody that I trusted very young in my life. I suffered bullying at the hands of people, my peers, as a result of how I looked. That was also due to my weight, as well as the fact that I was born with a calcium deficiency, which could basically mean that I'd eat something as soft as a banana and my teeth would break. So
Oh, wow.
I spent a lot of my like young adult life and my teens with like broken teeth and like gaps in my teeth. I used to talk
Wow.
behind my behind my hand. I had
Yeah.
no confidence, no self-worth. I fell pregnant at the age of 16, so I was
Wow.
dealing with bodily changes. I actually doubled my body weight during pregnancy because I was struggling. I was left by my partner at the time, 7 months pregnant, and we had a very traumatic situation,
Right.
which basically led me to developing an eating disorder. I was binge eating. When I had issues with my teeth, I developed an over-the-counter pain medication addiction, and I
Right.
was
Yeah.
with that. I've been through quite a lot of different struggles, and you know, my story as a whole is how I have personally overcome every struggle, and despite all the adversity, I've still remained resilient, and that I think is important. It's not necessarily playing the victim or saying, oh, look at me and look at all the things I've been through, but look at what I've done, look
Yeah.
at what I've
Yeah.
overcome. And
Yeah.
actually, if that doesn't inspire you in some way, then I don't know what will. Like,
No.
I hope that just take the time to understand that everyone is capable of achieving success if they're willing to put in the hard graft and willing to remain resilient in the face of adversity.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely persistence over resistance. I think that's something I've learned really is the consistency of trying really. And that's brilliant. That's amazing. I think that does inspire a lot of young women out there to with all these different and substantial hurdles you faced, you still managed to attain your dreams really, which is amazing. I mean, I remember speaking to your management and saying that, the press weren't as sort of I wouldn't say welcome, but they didn't grab onto it as something else. Do you think it's because you're a black woman, or do you think it's just because it's not a headline story? Or
It's a bit of both. I think that there is always going to be a discussion around whether or not something within beauty pageants is newsworthy. That
right,
because it is very much a like it or love it situation. Some people find it archaic. Some people don't like the idea of what they deem as objectification of women.
right, yeah,
on a beauty pageant scale, so they don't deem it as frontline news. However, I think that if you strip all that back and you put it back down to a woman of color
yeah,
who is also in a marginalized category because I'm plus size, has achieved something that has made history, should be the headline.
right,
And then when you break that down and actually talk about the things that I have overcome to get there, that layers in a whole nother level of, wow, like this is actually something that should be heard.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Gibbs, I don't mean that for me. I'm not doing it for the fame. I'm doing it because I want people to hear that is important, and for the younger generation to see that actually it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if you don't break if you break the mold. It's
yeah,
more important to stand in your own truth
yeah.
and do amazing things regardless of your situation.
No,
And
absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
what's important to me. And
no,
I really
absolutely.
just wanted that. And I do kind of think that, yes, being a woman of color, you're always going to be at a disadvantage. Not only am I a woman of color, I'm a plus size woman of color.
Right,
So I've got another layer of disadvantage. And I have to work extra hard to get my
right,
voice heard. But, I've just had another story break in the press after speaking to Trisha Goddard. And
right.
when you look at some of the comments of the people that have commented on it, it's horrific. The amount
Yeah,
I'm lucky that I'm a thick-skinned person who doesn't
yeah,
have that sort of level of negativity penetrate who I am. I'm very, very strong-willed. I'm a very strong-willed character. However, say for example, if I wasn't and I didn't have that level of self-worth that I didn't have, say, 10 years ago, if I'd read those comments, I could have been a Sophie Graydon. I could have been somebody who took my own life. Now, that's not okay, guys. You know, you need to stop being so judgmental and actually listen to the person. I'm a human with feelings. And those comments, you can't stand behind this veil of I'm sharing my opinion. Your opinion doesn't have to be voiced in that way so that it impacts somebody on a negative basis. That should never happen.
I mean, it makes my blood boil. I mean, we've seen it over the Euros, and just any major significant person who's got a platform or a large audience on social media is going to get this horrific kind of disgusting level of language, and a lot of it's keyboard warriors, right? It's not these guys are, girls are in a bedroom, sad with their own lives, so they take it on someone else. But I do think more needs to be done on that in terms of eliminating all these fake accounts or all these kind of this racist abuse that's prolific on social media. But again, kudos to you. I mean, that's the greatest example of why you're doing what you're doing, because you are thick-skinned and you're showing that you're resilient on that, which is really good. I mean, have you seen much change in sort of beauty or fashion industries regarding women of color and curvy girls? Have you particularly seen an improvement, or is it getting better or worse? Or
I would say that if you were to go back, say 10 years, are we now in a better position? 100%.
Yeah.
Are we there yet? No.
Yeah.
Like it's got incrementally better over the period of the 10 years that I've been more focal in it. However, I don't think that we're finished. Like, we are leaps and bounds behind, say, the US in terms of representation and diversity within the mainstream media. And I know that that's subjective, because obviously the US people generally are larger sizes, so they have less choice because everybody looks the same, and there's a bit more of a divide here in the UK of what people deem as acceptable. So yes, there has been a change. Yes, that shift change is continuing, but I still feel we're on that uphill gradient and we've got a long way to go.
No, definitely.
That's why it's been important for me. It needs to happen. That I'm proud to be part of that evolution.
And we need to see more, more men and women like yourselves in these headlines, right? Need to be seen more. I think it's that, visibility to some degree is credibility. So if kids can't see these men and women who are doing great things, then they have nothing to look up to. So, one of the things that I'm looking to do, and what I sort of shout about, is getting more men and women of color in great leadership roles to be visible, to say, look, I've done it, I've overcome these steps, but now I'm, CEO of this company, or I'm, a leader in this industry. So that gives more, a stepping stone or a ladder or a visual representation, so kids can say, okay, well, if he or she's done it, I can do it then. So I think that's where, especially in the Black community, I think definitely more successful men and women need to come forward and be visual and say, look, you can do it too. I think that will change a lot of dynamics as well. I think also on the flip side, it's about education. I think what we try and do is educate a lot of these leaders who run these big companies. I mean, from our side, working in the finance world, it does make financial sense for a company to be more inclusive. It does. It just does. The evidence is all there. But I think these leaders, a part of it is the fact that they may not know how to, adopt this diversity inclusion plan within their companies, or what it's because it's been so long they've been in this certain role, and now the change is a bit scary, or fear for the jobs, whatever. But I think that education piece of how we can get over it is really important. I mean, what are you looking to do going forward in terms of your career? Would it be, we spoke about this earlier, but would you want to go on a bigger platform, a bigger stage in terms of, I mean, do they have the beauty, the beauty queen or the global Miss World? Is that still happening?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm too old to take part, and it happens. That we have various different pageant systems that are like mainstream pageants within the UK, and some of them lead into the bigger competitions like Miss World and Miss Universe.
Right.
Generally for the younger aspect. So my category is a Ms category, and that's from the age of 28 onwards.
Right. Okay.
But for my category, there is the girl that won Miss Great Britain, Eden. She will go on to take part in something called Miss Tourism
Right.
Miss World Tourism, and that is something that's important because it's an international leg of the pageant that she's taken part in. Miss Universe Great Britain would then feed into Miss Universe, so the
Yeah.
winner of Miss Universe Great Britain will then compete in the major one in whatever country it's hosted in. You know, Miss England goes on to Miss World. So, you know, those high profile pageant systems do feed into the greater
Right.
scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
But unfortunately, because I'm in the older category,
Mm.
I don't get that opportunity. But that doesn't mean that I'm not a really vital part of that, because actually opening up those doors to people of marginalized situations,
Yeah.
you know, like we've just started our classic division,
Right.
which is for women over the age of 40 plus. That's bringing women, and there's no upper age limit, so
Oh, that's brilliant.
her 90s
Yeah.
taking part in a beauty pageant. If that's what drives her, and
Yeah.
she's passionate about it, why would we not want to celebrate that?
Absolutely.
You know, it's a celebration of women. It's not objectification. And if you took 5 minutes to actually understand pageantry or talk to somebody within pageantry, you'll understand there's far more than just a beauty pageant.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of volunteering, charity work, excuse me, philanthropic work all the way across. The people travel all over the world. They raise money and awareness for various different campaigns and charitable causes. We spend a lot of, people are like, oh, it's objectification and you're asking people to be judged on their beauty. Well, actually, no, the judging criteria is different for every pageant. You know, some people are judged on, some pageants judge on things like your character,
right,
your elegance, your confidence,
mm.
and, you know, and who you are as a person. There is a one-to-one interview where you are quizzed by the judging panel on, you know, sometimes even things as important as like current events and,
right.
and political situations, where you're weighing in on your opinion. We are figureheads.
Yeah, yeah.
We are role models for the younger generation. And that's not just about how beautiful we are. And that's what makes my blood boil, because people who think that clearly don't understand or know. And they're making a judgment based on what they consider to be an informed set of information, but it's incorrect.
Yeah.
And they haven't taken the time to research it or understand it even further.
I mean, I think growing up, you know, I mean, in the early days, watching it used to be on TV for a while, didn't it? And, you know, it was, I mean, some of it, I mean, I do think it was quite unfair because, you know, the Miss World, the Miss Universe, you know, some of the contestants were mocked because, you know, they didn't appear or come across as being the most, you know, intelligent people when asked in interviews. I think that kind of stigma kind of like set the tone for it for a while, and then it just disappeared off TV for a while. So I'm glad to see that, you know, there's a different sort of caliber of people in the industry now and applying. I mean, what sort of other companies are you getting approached now by companies to be the face of a brand, or to be representative of you know, maybe a lingerie or a fashion house, because of the fact that you're now Miss Great Britain?
There will always be opportunities. I've also have, I won't say an unfair advantage, but I have an advantage because I am an influencer.
Right. Okay.
As a plus size influencer, and I have been for a number of years. That's
right.
my side hustle.
Yeah.
So I have contacts already. I have been ambassadors of lingerie brands and all
right.
different,
Okay.
you know, fashion brands already. So
yeah.
I have those connections very luckily. However, every title is different, and you do with it what you will. Like if I wanted to not do anything within like fashion, and I just wanted to use my platform for charity,
yeah,
then that would be totally okay. If
right.
I wanted to go and build schools in Uganda, I could go and do that if I wanted to. But each individual queen will have their own platform,
goals,
their own
right,
goals,
right.
And for me, it's representation. So I do want to be the face of like certain different companies, because I think that will help the greater scale of representation for people who are marginalized. And if I can just make little incremental steps to help that, then I feel like I'm part of that evolution, I'm part of that change, and that's what's important to me. But also I am an influencer, so I will have those opportunities anyway, regardless of whether or not
what's going on. Yeah, the power of social media. So what's next then, Kat? What's have you got any major plans ahead of you for 2022, or you know, any
I've got various different things in the pipeline. The next thing that I'll be doing is I'm turning on the Christmas lights at
nice
in Croydon,
right,
which is, you know, I remember going as a child and watching the turn on the Christmas lights, and sometimes it'll be like Anton Deck, and I'd be like, oh my god, it's Anton Deck. So I'm like the D-list celebrity that they managed to pick up.
To get on.
Call me that, but no, for me that's my hometown. So
Right, yeah,
going back to my hometown to go and switch on the Christmas lights, it's pretty cool.
that's
I
nice.
like,
Yeah, that's good. You want to
I'm
go.
to do that. I'm quite happy to do that. But yeah, I'm just gonna do what I can. And if I want to make it known that I'm available to help any small business, local, charities.
Yeah, brilliant.
If you guys want to use my platform and my voice, I have, a sizable social media following. If I can help anybody and empower any other like people to help them fulfill their dreams, then tap me in. Like,
Brilliant. That's amazing, Kat.
that's
No, we'll.
I've got a year to use this title to the best of my ability.
Right.
To use me.
So yeah, quickly. So when does it start again then, Kat? When's the next? Does it start the competition?
It's a year. You hold the title for a year. You hold the title forever, but you are the reigning queen for a year.
Right. Okay.
COVID has obviously thrown some spanners in the works. So last year's queen got it for like 18, 19, 21 months. Bless them. They did a fantastic job. And I'm not wishing a global pandemic, but I'd love the opportunity to go for a 2-year stint. But it's not for me.
Can you reapply? Can you reapply over again? Can you sort of go in or you?
I'm 1 year off a classic, so who knows? I could jump into the next category. You wouldn't recompete for the same title.
Okay.
So I would not go back and go and be Ms. Great Britain 2022-23. That would never happen. You'd go on to a different system. So, or you'd recompete in the same same overarching umbrella system, but as a different category.
Different category.
As the classic, basically, but that's not in the cards right now. I've got this for a year.
Enjoy it. Have fun with it. Right? Absolutely. Well, Kat, look, thank you so much again for this impromptu interview. But I really appreciate it. I think you've been as I said. I mean, we had to get in touch with you because it's such an inspiration to see, especially for Kerry women and the women of colour, to know that it can be done. Because I don't think it's been 76 years, right? It's never been attained. So that's change, which is really good. So yeah, I mean, again, congratulations, Kat. Thank you so much, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a great week.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye bye.